Come walk with me. I want to talk a little bit about just how things have changed in the last year and a half for all of us, and how things will never be the same again, whether that be good or bad. And I'm going to talk about how to enjoy and embrace where you are, what you're doing in the here and now. If you're new to this channel is called The Improvement Gnome. It's about all things improvement, relationships, career, health, weight loss, and your journey through life, spirituality. Well, you may have found that we've lost some of our innocence in the last year and a half. We've lost a little bit of civility as far as culture and accepting other people's viewpoints. And it doesn't matter what political side that you're on, you have to admit there's been disrespect on both ends, and government control and freedoms being taken away and dictating now where you can go, what you can do. It is super frustrating, but this wasn't the first time in history that things like this have happened, and that a little bit of our freedom, or a lot of our freedom, has been taken away. One date in particular, in September of 2001, and you know what date I'm talking about. Instantaneously like that, we lost a lot of innocence, we lost a lot of freedom, and there's no going back from that. It's done what's done. And I reminisce and I look back in life and have regrets, but also have joy of thinking about things that I've done with people, with my family, relationships, my marriage. There were great things. I wasn't always present in the moment. I wasn't always enjoying and being focused on what I was doing, where I was. One of the great US presidents in the early 1900s, Theodore Teddy Roosevelt, he says, do what you can with what you have where you are. But I like to think of it as enjoy and glean the moment of what you have where you are. What I mean by that is focus from the now, and know those good times that you had back in the past, you can't re-glean them. They're already gone. And have you ever had a moment where you enjoyed something so much at a specific location, whether that be vacation or something, and you went back to that place a year later, 2 years later, and you wanted to relive that by living this same experience, and it's never as good, it's never as enjoyable. You realize that was one moment at a time that was precious and can never be replicated. You aren't the same. The people that was with you aren't the same. The location's not even the same. The people there are not the same. That's basically life, nature, and God telling you, yeah, that was fun, but what's next? What are you going to do today? What are you going to do that's new, that inspires you, that makes you happy? If you're getting a little bit longer in the tooth like I am, I'm in my mid-40s, I reminisce about times in the 80s and 90s before the internet, before smartphones. I realize the innocence, the joys of my youth, but I also know I can't replicate it. I also know I'll never be 10 or 20 again. I need to focus on now, enjoying what I'm doing now, and learning and being better for today. Old timers from the 40s, 50s, and 60s would tell you that times then were better. It's before the Vietnam War. It's before all this fake toxic news that's in the air. It's before video game systems. They would go to the movies. They would go out and play. They'd go on the beach. So think about what's going on today with today's youth and what they'll say 30, 40 years from now about how the 2000s were so great and so innocent, and how things have changed for the worse. Look now, I'm in the Florida sun. You can see palm trees. This experience I'm having with you, it's priceless. You can't put the genie in the bottle. After today, this day's over with. You know, in a few years, I might not be living in Florida. I might be living in Canada. There will be days in the wintertime that I would just enjoy seeing the palm trees in the sun and having the heat just rain down on me. But I can't have it in other places. Juxtaposed to that, I used to live in a colder environment where it would snow. I used to live in the mountains. A lot of times I grieve for the day where I can look out and there's snow, feel the ice falling on the tip of my nose, and just that feeling of drinking a warm drink or drinking warm coffee while you just got out of the snow. These are things that I yearn for now. I didn't appreciate where I lived. Grew up in a small town of 5,000 people. You know, the nearest mall was like an hour away. There wasn't a lot of shops. There wasn't a lot of things to do. But now I grieve for that place sometimes. When I go to visit family there now, it's like going on vacation. And you smell that mountain air, and you enjoy the sparse population, driving down a street and maybe seeing one car. I mean, there's something beautiful about that. But at the time, I wasn't enjoying it and experiencing it. There's places I should have gone when I was there in the Appalachians, like Dollywood, Myrtle Beach, all these places. I should have been enjoying where I was at when I was there. Same thing now, I'm in Florida, and now I'm appreciating the sun. But there's many of weekends I could have gone to the beach. I could have gone to St. Augustine. I could have gone to Coral Castle down in Miami, which is the West Stonehenge. There's so many things I could do while I'm here, but am I going to wait to the next page in life where I'm out of Florida and now I'll be wishing I had done this, I'll be wishing I had done that? It'll be over. And while you're enjoying where you're at, enjoying the people that are around you while they have you and while you have them, enjoy their little idiosyncrasies, enjoy the little things, the little moments of what you would have with them, the hugs, the smiles, the conversations. Because we all know the last 2 years, it can go away tomorrow. They could lose you. You could lose them. Anything can happen. My father's been gone now for 8 years. And I remember going to college and just having social anxiety and not being able to really make friends in the college town that I was in. I'd come home and we would play chess for hours and hours. And we'd have hours and hours of long conversations. And I think I took it a little bit of granted for time, but at the same time I was engaged in the games and the conversations. And it's something that I treasure, but I realize also too, I can never go back to it. It's gone. My father was extremely eccentric, and there would be months in my adulthood where I wouldn't talk to him, not necessarily because it was a choice, it's just we're both introverts. But what I would do to get a phone call from him, just to have one more conversation, just to play one more chess game, to have one more hug from him, and that'll never happen. You know what? I could still hug my 93-year-old grandmother, my mom, my brother, sister-in-law, my nephew, my daughter, and that's what I need to be focused on right now. So I want to show you something here that I run across a few times a week while I'm walking to the post office and back. Under this oak tree, there's always litter and bottles and stuff, and I won't mention the bottles and the boxes and the names of the product that's on it, just because I don't want this video to be flagged. But every time I see the litter under this tree, I'll go over with a bag and pick up all the litter to throw away, and I'll say a little prayer under that area. Last week when I was picking up the litter, a man on a golf cart came by, and he works for the dealership and he's responsible for the grounds area. He says, "Gee, I really thank you for cleaning up this litter. I'll pick it up when I can." He's like, there's this older man on a bicycle. He'll go by the near grocery store or pharmacy and he'll buy all these things and then he'll consume it under this tree. He says, "You know what this has to be doing to his liver." I was like, "I know." Now once or twice when I go home and visit my family in the town of 4,000 or 5,000 people, I enjoy my grandmother, I enjoy my mom, I hug them, and I try to soak up every moment. I enjoy time with my mom, going to the movies with her, watching TV, playing cards. I love playing board games with my grandmother, and she'll call me a little shit ass. It's just so much fun and so much pleasure to enjoy my family while they're still here and while I'm still here. I know this video may give you nostalgia and reminisce about your old home and your old town and just want to go back there. And I know that a lot of us can't do that right now. But when I go back into a store that I haven't been in 20 years in my old hometown, it's almost like the walls and the air is just marinating and soaking me up with love. It's kind of hard to explain now that my daughter's a teenager and she's going into high school and she'll be out of the home soon. I try to enjoy every second I can with her. And I sometimes do have regrets that maybe I didn't enjoy her and enjoy being her parent as much as I could. But before my daughter was born, I remember my mom talking about raising me and my brother and how it was almost like a dream to her and how she could just wish, her and my dad could just wish to go back in time when we were little boys again. That our time at home and our childhood went by like a flash and it was gone. And you realize when you leave the home that for a lot of us, it's going to be months, sometimes years, before we physically see our parents again. So the next 4 or 5 years, as my daughter is still in the home, I'm going to try to enjoy those moments, but also try to be a good parent and to guide her and to send her in the right direction, and for her not to have heavy regret about the past or a heavy burden about the future of what she isn't or what she is. And you may get from this channel that I can be an extreme hermit, but my brother is one person that's always pushed me to enjoy new things, new experiences. Because of him, I've been skiing for the first time in Barrie, Canada. I've been on the beaches of Jamaica, of Hawaii, Dominican Republic. Beautiful Negril, Jamaica. Him, my sister-in-law and nephew have been that force to push me to think about the day and gleaming and soaking up every bit of joy that you can get in a single day. I want you to enjoy the day. Don't dwell so much about the past and past regrets. Don't worry and fear so much about the future and things that we have absolutely no control over. If you and your family has food in your stomach for this day and water to drink for this day and a piece of plywood over your head or a piece of metal from a car over your head for today, then thank God for that and find some little moment that you can enjoy or some instance where your family member or even yourself makes you laugh. So if you're watching and you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. I'll put another video over here. It's about consuming olive oil and the benefits of olive oil. I try to make videos like this every week. Please leave a comment in the description. Tell me what you think of my opinions, what you agree or disagree. And as always, better and better.